Daniel got the promotion he had been chasing for 3 years, new title, new office, and a salary that finally crossed $70,000 a year. He called his parents that night. His dad said he was proud. His girlfriend said they should celebrate. His friends said he'd made it. And for about 2 weeks, Daniel believed them. Then the bank statements started looking exactly the same as before. More money coming in, more money going out, and somehow, at the end of every month, the same uncomfortable feeling that nothing had really changed. That's what this video is about. Not about Daniel making bad decisions, not about him being bad with money, but about a system that was never designed to make him wealthy in the first place. Stay with me, because by the end of this, the way you think about your paycheck will never be the same. Daniel was 29 when he got that promotion. He'd done everything right, studied hard, got the degree, joined a solid company, worked longer hours than anyone else in his department. The raise was the reward for all of that. $70,000 a year. After tax, roughly $4,200 a month hitting his account. In his head, the maths was simple. He was earning more, so he'd save more, so he'd get ahead faster. Here's what actually happened. Within 6 months of the raise, his rent had gone up. He'd moved to a nicer apartment. It felt like the right move for someone at his level. His car payments went up too. The old one felt embarrassing in the new work car park. He started going to better restaurants, taking nicer holidays, buying clothes that matched the person he was becoming. None of it felt reckless. All of it felt earned. Economists have a name for this. They call it lifestyle inflation. But that phrase makes it sound like a choice. Like Daniel sat down one day and decided to spend more. He didn't. It just happened. Gradually, automatically, almost invisibly. Because here's the thing, nobody tells you when you get a raise. Your spending has been waiting for permission. And a bigger salary is exactly that, permission. By the time Daniel sat down and actually looked at the numbers, 18 months had passed. His salary had gone up by $18,000 a year. His monthly expenses had gone up by almost exactly the same amount. He was earning more than he ever had, and saving almost exactly what he had before. Now here's where most people go wrong when they hear a story like Daniel's. They think the lesson is, spend less. But that's not the lesson, or at least, it's not the most important one. The real problem runs deeper than lifestyle inflation. It's about what a salary actually is, and what it isn't. A salary is an exchange. You give your time, you receive money. It's clean, predictable, and comfortable. But it has one fundamental flaw that almost nobody talks about openly. It stops the moment you stop. Think about that for a second. If Daniel wakes up tomorrow and can't go to work, illness, burnout, redundancy, anything, the money stops. Immediately. No matter how good he is at his job, no matter how many years he's given. The exchange only works when both sides keep showing up. That's not a personal failing. That's the design. And wealthy people, not just rich but genuinely, sustainably wealthy, understood this a long time ago. They don't rely on a salary as their primary vehicle for building wealth. They use it as fuel, raw material, the starting point, not the destination. The average person, working from 25 to 65, earning an average salary across their career, will earn somewhere between $1.5 and $2.5 million in gross income over their lifetime. Read that again, 1.5 to 2.5 million euros, over a lifetime of work. Now ask yourself, where does most of that money go? Rent or mortgage, food, transport, subscriptions, holidays, clothes, the things that make a life feel normal. By the time most people retire, the amount they've actually kept, saved, invested, built into assets, is a fraction of what passed through their hands. Not because they were irresponsible, but because nobody sat them down at 22 and explained that earning money and keeping money are two completely different skills. So, what's the difference? Let's go back to Daniel, and let's imagine a parallel version of him. Same salary, same city, same starting point. Let's call him David. David gets the same promotion, $70,000 a year. But David had read something a few years earlier that stuck with him. A simple idea: every time your income goes up, your savings rate goes up first, before your lifestyle does. So, when the raise hit, David made one decision before anything else. He He moved 20% of every paycheck, $840 a month, into a separate account he called his asset account. Automatic transfer, same day his salary landed. Then he lived on the rest. His lifestyle still got better. He still moved to a nicer place, still went on good holidays. But the upgrade was funded by what was left, not by everything. Now here's where it gets interesting. That $840 a month didn't just sit there. David put it to work. Index funds, a small amount into rates. Later, when he had enough saved, a deposit on a small property he rented out. He wasn't a financial genius. He wasn't taking massive risks. He was just doing one thing consistently that Daniel wasn't. He was building things that made money while he slept. By the time both Daniel and David were 40, 11 years after that promotion, their lives looked almost identical on the surface. Same kind of apartment, similar cars, same social life. But underneath, they were in completely different positions. Daniel had a salary, a good one, and roughly $18,000 in savings. David had a salary, the same one, and an investment portfolio worth $140,000, generating roughly $500 a month in passive income, whether he went to work or not. Same starting point, same income, 11 years apart. The only difference was what each of them believed a salary was for. Here's the mindset shift that separates people like David from people like Daniel. Daniel saw his salary as income, money that came in to fund his life. David saw his salary as a tool, something to be deployed, partly into his life and partly into things that would eventually replace the need for a salary entirely. That second framing changes everything, because once you start thinking of your salary as a tool rather than an endpoint, the question you ask every month completely changes. You stop asking, "Can I afford this?" And you start asking, "What is this money doing for me while I'm not looking at it?" That's not a small shift. That's the whole game. Now, I want to be honest with you because I think a lot of finance content skips this part. This isn't easy, and it's not fast. David didn't feel the results of his decisions for years. For the first 2 or 3 years, his investment account felt pointless. Small numbers, slow growth, nothing exciting to show anyone. But that's exactly when most people give up, when the results don't feel real yet. The people who end up wealthy aren't necessarily smarter. They're not necessarily earning more. They're just the ones who kept going during the boring middle part, when nothing felt like it was working, because they understood what was happening underneath the surface. Compound interest doesn't feel like anything for a long time, and then suddenly it feels like everything. So back to Daniel. Last I checked, he's still at the same company, still getting small raises every couple of years, still feeling like the next one will be the one that finally changes things. It won't. Not on its own. Because the truth, the uncomfortable, nobody puts it on a poster truth, is that your salary will never make you wealthy. Not by itself. Not without understanding what it's actually for. It's not the destination, it's the starting line. What you build with it, on top of it, and eventually instead of it, that's the part that matters. Daniel knew how to earn money. He just never learned what to do with it next. Don't be Daniel. If this video made you think differently about your paycheck, subscribe, because next week we're going deeper into exactly how David set up his system, step by step. No complicated finance jargon, just what actually works. See you then.